So, the past few days, I've been playing a game called the Vasara Collection on the Nintendo Switch, which was provided to me by the developer Cubite Interactive, so I do want to thank them for providing me with the review code. So, the Vasara Collection is a collection of 3 games in total: Vasara 1 and Vasara 2, and then a newer game called Vasara Timeless. Vasara 1 and 2 are old school, retro, Japanese, arcade shoot-'em-up games, as you can see by the gameplay here. And Vasara Timeless is a newer game redone just for this collection, which is definitely very interesting and probably the meat of the experience that most people would be the most excited to want to play and check out. Now, full disclosure, I had never heard of the Vasara series. These games were brand new to me, so when I was made aware of the game, I was actually really excited. I mean, this is literally the most old school retro shoot 'em up kind of gameplay you could possibly want. And again, because these are so very Japanese in their development and presentation, that means there's a lot of crazy action and a lot of things going on screen that some of the older shoot 'em up games that we've known from the past in the 80s and 90s didn't really have. This game takes a lot of the shoot 'em up genre and just dials it up to 11, and it is just completely insane. So I was very excited to dig into these games because I wasn't familiar with them, and it is a genre that I very much love. Playing through Vasara 1 and 2, in a lot of ways they're pretty similar. They do look pretty much the same, and they also play very similarly as well. You get some differences as far as which characters and ships you can actually pick from the menu screen, and some of the story setup is also a little bit different, but at the end of the day, you're playing a very similar experience. What's interesting about these games, and I know that this is going to be different from what the arcade experience or console experience would have been back in the day, of course, but what I really like about these games is that with Vasara 1 and 2, with the re-releases, these ports of the old classic games, the game actually allows you to add continues throughout the experience, both when you start the game as well as every time you die when you're using one of your continues. All you have to do is use that ZL trigger, and you can add up to 9 continues at any time, essentially giving you infinite continues. And I have to say that these are games that absolutely warrant it. What we're looking at are obviously bullet hell inspired games. And I happen to love bullet hell games, and that's why I was excited to play these. And these are some of the best and most frenetic bullet hell shoot 'em up kind of games I've ever played. There is so much coming at you throughout the whole experience every single level, and it's a lot of fun to try to dodge and bob and weave and use your regular attack, find your power-ups to make your attacks even stronger, and then use your Vasara attack to do this devastating mega attack that just takes care of all the enemies on the screen. Pretty classic, obvious stuff. What's tricky about these games, though, I have to tell you guys, and this applies to all of the games on this collection, and it's the biggest negative I have, is that there is a significant and very awkward delay when you're moving your ship around the screen. The button delay using your analog stick or your D-pad to traverse across the map is so extreme, and it's really frustrating. Anyone familiar with a bullet hell experience knows that you need precise, tactile, immediate action and function out of your controls. When you're moving and you're trying to dodge between a trillion bullets coming at you from 100 different directions, it's got to be dead on the money. And on this game, I don't know what it is, and maybe this changes by the time the game releases, which is actually today, the day this video is going up. Maybe they fix this. Maybe this is something only temporary that existed in the review copies. But man, this delay is very frustrating, and it definitely hinders the entire experience. But does it break the experience? I'm happy to say that no, it doesn't truly break the experience. At the end of the day, you can still play through this game and have a ton of fun and not really worry about it, especially on Vasara's 1 and 2, where you have infinite continues anyway. And what's great about the way these games are designed, and this applies to all 3 of these games, is whereas your B attack uses just a quick burst fire to attack, and shoot all of your different enemies, if you hold down the ZR trigger, you just get an unlimited non-stop barrage of bullets. And while that does reduce the gameplay and the combat to something mindless and simple, it is still pretty fun, and it's very satisfying to just hold that trigger down, and you don't even have to think about it, and just everywhere you're moving across the screen, back and forth, you're taking care of enemies, and you're just blowing stuff up. Like I already alluded to, there are power-ups that you pick up throughout each level, and the more power-ups you get, the more crazy and intense and big your bullets and your firepower gets, which again is similar to many other games in this genre, but here it is extremely satisfying. And you can also kind of tell that they knew the bullet hell experience was a little bit extreme in this game, because the way the Vasara special attack works is not only does it shoot like a super crazy beam or use a super crazy attack based on whatever ship you have, it also stops all incoming bullets and missiles and lasers coming at you. So it basically creates a temporarily like 3-second barrier from all of the crazy nonsense coming at you. So there will be times where you use that Vasara attack not because you want to try to wipe out enemies, but because you know you've got too many bullets coming at you and you're not going to be able to dodge them. So in a split second, you use that Vasara attack and it takes care of all of the bullets on the screen and keeps you safe. That is like half of the function of the Vasara attack, which I have to say, for the most part, I really like. Now, like I said, Vasara Timeless is the newer mode in the game, and you can see it is much more pleasing to the eyes if you like this kind of style. I actually happen to like the classic retro look of the other games, but the difference is those aren't in widescreen, whereas Vasara Timeless is in a beautiful, huge, awesome widescreen format, and it is using polygon models and polygon more 3D effects compared to the old kind of sprite-based retro stuff. And so whereas I prefer the retro stuff, I still very much appreciate what they did with Vasara Timeless. I think it looks great, and again, that widescreen makes all of the difference. Also, what you get with Vasara Timeless is a much slower, much more even-keeled experience, and I also appreciate that. As much as it's fun to have the non-stop bullet hell kind of action of Vasara's 1 and 2, it's also fun to have something that gives you more space and real estate to work with, and a little bit more of a down-paced tempo, so you can more easily kind of calculate what you're trying to do, especially because of that button delay with the analog stick, like I said, which still continues to be a problem even in Vasara Timeless. And I have to admit, I don't really know if this is true. I haven't tested this. I don't have a way to test this. But I feel like the button delay, the analog stick delay, is slightly worse in Vasara Timeless than it is in the two classic retro games. Again, I don't know that. I'm just putting it out there that to me, it feels that way when I play Vasara Timeless. So you still have this persistent problem that is very frustrating when playing a game like this. But again, if you overlook it, you're still playing a lot of fun shoot-'em-up action, and Vasara Timeless is great. The big difference with Vasara Timeless is that they do not appear to give you that crutch that Vasara's 1 and 2 do of unlimited continues. You don't even have continues with Vasara Timeless, as far as I could tell when I played through it. You get a couple of lives, you go through this level, you get to the boss, and you better beat that boss, because if you don't, you're going to die, and it's just going to make you start this level over again. So they're definitely a bit harsher and more strict with the rules for Vasara Timeless, I think, to make it feel a little bit more modern, but that's okay. At the end of the day, it's still a nice, fun, simple experience, and all of these games in this entire package comes together really well. So at the end of the day, I really enjoy the Vasara collection, and I appreciate what it's bringing to the shoot-'em-up genre. I love that it gives you both the combination of the classic, old-school, arcade, retro-inspired games by porting those directly, as well as a new, modern take on this genre and on this exact series. It's really a lot of fun. It's crazy fast shoot-'em-up action. It's bullet hell action. Vasara's 1 and 2 are great retro arcade games that give you unlimited continues as if you were super rich in the arcades. And Vasara Timeless is just an awesome, great-looking, updated game. Like I've said, the only thing hindering this experience is the unfortunate button delay with controlling your ship. The analog stick and the D-pad do not feel very tight to control, and it is very hard to play a game like this with that delay. But it doesn't break the experience, and at the end of the day, you get 3 really solid, fun, simple shoot-'em-up games for only $10. This game is $9.99 on the eShop. So I have to say that, yeah, I would recommend this game for that price. It's a ton of fun as long as you can get over that button delay. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Vasara Collection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I don't really do reviews or previews very often, but since I was given this review code, I really wanted to discuss my time with the game because it's been a whole lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time on another video.